Hey guys, it's not Lammers of Invoked 101. Welcome back, and it's been a minute since we had a face cam. I'm a little ruggeder than usual, but today we're going to be taking a look at a really cool deck, one that I haven't taken a look at in a while, and that has gotten quite a bit of support since the last time I looked at it. That is Amazement. This is a deck that I was really excited for back when it came out, and I still really like it. I actually created a Facebook group for this deck. It didn't go so well, not very great, but still, I do really enjoy this deck. This deck profile is going to be a little different near the end, but we'll get there when we get there. And yeah, I'm really excited to show this off to you. It's super fun, and I'm excited to hear your thoughts on it. Also, my face cam might die at some point during this. I forgot to charge it, so we'll see how long the face cam lasts. With that all said, before we get into the deck profile, if you feel like hitting that subscribe button, please do. Secondly, down in the description, if you want to support the channel, there's some links down there that you can use to do just that. We're going to set the spells and traps and extra deck off to the side, and we're going to get right into the main deck monsters. Starting us off, we have two of the brand new monster. This is Amazement Abomination Arlecchino. He's a level 7 light psychic with 26-22, so awesome stats on this guy. Same as his alternate version from the original set, and his effect is if you control an Amazement monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, then add one Amazement family faces from deck or grave to your hand. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can target one other effect monster on the field with more than 0 attack. Shuffle this card into the deck. If you do, special summon a Amazement Administrator Arlecchino from your deck, then change the attack of the targeted monster to 0. You can only use each effect of Amazement Abomination Arlecchino once per turn. So, very cool card, able to tag out into his original version, able to set up family faces, which was something that the deck couldn't do before. So having that option is really nice now. Next up is, of course, Amazement Administrator Arlecchino. This is from the original set, and he's kind of a multi-faker for the deck. Once per turn, you can banish any number of attraction traps from the graveyard, then target that many cards the opponent controls, destroy them. You can only use this effect, use each effect of the following effects of Arlecchino once per turn. If a trap card is activated, except during damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. If your opponent normal or special summons a monster, except during damage step, you can target one of those face-up monsters they control, equip one attraction trap from deck to that target. So, nice piece of spot removal, able to get your attraction traps equipped to your opponent's monster, setting up for Kamika. Oh, sorry, we have 3 of him. I am so sorry. Yeah, we have 3 of this guy. I completely just blanked on him. Yeah, so 3 Arlecchino. But this is one of those cards where if you want to only play 2, you can totally just get away with 2, especially now that we have the other one. Back in the day, you used to need 3, but and I'll talk about that when I get to the end of the deck profile as well. But yeah, really strong monster, really good card. Sets up your traps for Kamika, and yeah, really good overall. Speaking of Kamika, here she is, the level 4 light machine. 14-18. When this card is normal summoned, you can set one attraction trap directly from your deck. Quick effect, you can target one of your attraction traps, equip to a monster, equip it to one Amazement monster you control or a face-up monster your opponent controls. You can only use this effect of Kamika once per turn. So she's the one. You could also play one Bufo instead of the Administrator. I've found that at least one Bufo does help the deck. I will tell you right now, I'm not playing any. But she is able to switch up where the equips are and able to change them around, which is really nice, as well as being a marionetter for the deck. Like, I remember when this deck came out, I was like, oh, so it's just like knockoff Altergeists. But yeah, there's Kamika. Next up, we have the last Amazement monster we are playing, which is 3 Delia. We're going to put Delia over there because I just realized my face cam is over here. We're going to play 3 Delia. Her effect is you can reveal an attraction trap in your hand, special summon this card from your hand. You can send one attraction trap from your hand or face up field of the grave, set an attraction trap directly from deck to your spell and trap zone. You can only use each effect of Amazement Delia once per turn. 18-14 light machine. So she's pretty cool for setting up your other ones. Basically, you reveal one, summon her, and then if you have a bad attraction trap in your hand, one that doesn't work, so stuff like Rapid Racing or the Viking one, Viking Vortex, you can discard it, either set Thrill Train or Horror House or Cyclo Coaster. Yeah, just sets you up for all of that. But yeah, and like I said, if you wanted to, you could play one Bufo instead of the 3rd Arlecchino, or just cut the 3rd Arlecchino altogether. That is it for the Amazement monsters for hand trap monsters, and the only hand traps we're playing 3 Ash and 2 Effect Veiler. I find that these are fairly decent in this deck. You could also play Imperm, obviously, as a trap, so this deck does work with it. But yeah, those are the ones I went with. You could also play Pot of Pot of Duality instead of the effect failures. Moving into the spells, we play a very, very low spell count. The only amazement spells that we play are the Amazing Time Ticket. This is the Rhoda for the deck, and peep the sneak peek preview versions over here. So Amazing Time Ticket is pay 8, feel great, and then apply the following effect based on whose turn it is. One is add an amazement card from deck to hand, or if it's your opponent, so that's on your turn, and if it's your opponent's turn, you can set an attraction trap directly from your deck, and it can be activated this turn. So a really good card either way, really good card on your turn, your opponent's turn, and yeah, just a nice little, and it's a quick play spell, which is always nice. Next up, 3 Pot of Extravagance. It's a deck that doesn't really need its extra deck. It's one of those things. So Extravagance easily takes the cut, and it doesn't draw cards. And then 1 Called by the Grave. We're playing a very low spell count. Whoa, bye Called by. We're playing a very low spell count because you don't need a lot of spells in this deck. They don't play a lot. One thing I was testing around with was one of the field spell to get Arlecchino off, but I found that it wasn't as great as I wanted it to be. If I had the field spell, which I do somewhere, just not here, I don't know if I would play it, but it is something to keep in mind, as it does let you activate traps the turn they're set. I found that it was really only good if you opened it plus Comica, so I found that it was kind of cloggy at 3, and I just didn't like it. Moving into the traps, we're going to talk about the newest one, which is actually kind of a little bit old at this point. 3 Thrill Train. This is an amazing, no pun intended, but an amazing addition to the deck. It is a trap card that says target 1 amazement monster you control or 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, equip this card to it, which is what all the Amaze attractions do. All of them have that effect. And then apply this effect based on which player controls the equipped monster. So all of them do this kind of thing. So if it's equipped to your monster, change the equipped monster's battle position, then your opponent chooses 1 attraction trap in your graveyard, and you set it to your field. This is a fantastic ability, because that was one of the biggest problems with this deck, was not being able to recover your traps. So now that we have a way to do that, it's really, really helpful. The other effect is if it's your opponent controls the monster, banish the equipped monster until the end phase. So really, really cool card, just an amazing addition to the deck. And one of the things that you'll notice about the kind of design language of the Amazement cards is that if it's a U effect, typically you can use it multiple times, but if it's an opponent's effect, it usually removes itself from the field when it's the attraction trap. So just something to keep in mind. The kind of what's it called? The exception to the rule here is Cyclocoaster. Cyclocoaster is one of the best ones in the entire deck. So it does the equip effect, and then if you control it, you can target a spell or trap your opponent controls, send both it and this card to the graveyard. Don't pop them, send them. So that's really nice. And then if your opponent controls it, you get to add an amazement monster from your deck to your hand, and if you do, send this card to the graveyard. Like I said, this one's kind of the exception to the rule, where it's like, oh, you can use it multiple times. This one, you kind of only get the one use out of it either way, and for obvious reasons. Next up, we have the other really, really good one, that is Amaze Attraction Horror House. Horror House is a fantastic one. It has the equip effect. If you control the monster, target an effect monster your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of this turn. If my opponent controls the monster, change the equipped monster to face down defense position. So both really strong effects, a negate or a Book of Moon, just depending on what you equip it to. Fantastic. This is also usually what you're equipping straight from the deck, and these are also the cards that you're usually setting with Thrill Train. We only play 2 more Amaze attractions. We are playing the other new one. It's from Dama, so it's kind of old at this point, but Amaze Attraction Viking Vortex, again, not a super great one, not gonna lie, but it has the equip effect, and then if you control the monster, it says once per turn when an opponent's monster declares an attack, negate the attack. If you do, change control of the equipped monster until the end of the battle phase, which wouldn't be so bad if I could which wouldn't be so bad if, one, it changed its battle position, or I could use both effects in one turn. But If my opponent controls the monster, it says the equipped when the equipped monster activates its effect, return it to the hand. So that's also pretty nice, just being able to bounce something. This is one that I tinkered with 2 of for a while, but Thrill Coaster is just a better, or Thrill Train is just a better card in general. The last one, that's the traction that we're playing, is Rapid Racing. It says target an Amazement. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it has the equip effect. If you control the monster, target a card in your opponent's graveyard, change the equipped monster's battle position. If you do, shuffle that target in the deck. Fantastic piece of interruption. If the opponent controls the monster, increase the equipped monster's level by 1 until the end phase. And if you do, change its battle position. So, it says you don't get attack with it, and you don't get a Synchro or Xyz with it. Have fun. Very, very cool card. It is one of the better one-of traps, and it's definitely one that whenever I'm using the other Arlecchino, the main Arlecchino's effect, I try not to banish this one, just because I do find it useful. The other one that we're playing, because Abomination mentions it, is Family Faces. This is a really cool card. It's a really interesting choice that this deck has. And being able to, the main problem with this back before Abomination came out was we couldn't search this, but now we can from deck or grave. And it says target a monster your opponent controls equipped with an attraction trap or traps, equip this card to it. While this card is equipped to a monster, take control of the equipped monster, and while you control it, it gains 500 attack, you can't activate its effects, and it becomes an Amazement monster. So it basically says you're gonna have fun at Disneyland and you're gonna like it, and I really I think the card is super, super cool. I like the little keychains that it has. It has a Comica and an Arlecchino and a Bufo keychain, which is really, really fun. That's it for the Amazement or Amaze traps. Play a pretty hefty package because you have to play a pretty big package for this deck. Last up is the generic traps. We are playing 3 Dogmatic Punishment. This is just a piece of interruption. Again, you don't really use your extra deck, and this is just even more of that. And I know that this kind of stems that to show that you bleed your extra deck dry with this, but hey, it's what you got to do. And then 3 Anti-Spell. This is devastating against a lot of decks, and it allows you to set up your trap cards while your opponent has to play catch up with you. It really does kind of bring it back down and helps level the playing field with this deck, and that's what you need to do with Amazement. I believe this deck is 42 cards, 41 cards, so is a little heavy. Like I said, you can cut one of the Arlecchinos if you really wanted to. It's up to you. Now, I don't have a extra deck set out for this because, like I said, it is an Extravagance deck, and when I play Extravagance decks, there's really not a lot to do with them. You can play the 3 Natis, which obviously you want to do. I would say you could also play the 3 5-headed dragon, I think, just to out other things with your, what's it called? Dogmatic Punishment. And then there's the options of any generic links, probably the Nightmare monsters, so Phoenix, Griffin, Unicorn, or Phoenix, Cerberus, Unicorn, sorry. And yeah, that's realistically what I would do, is just load it up with, so that's 3 Natis, and then 3 5-headed, and then 3 Unicorn, 3 what's it called? 3 Cerberus, and then 3 Phoenix. So that should fill up the extra deck, and that's really all you need for this deck. But yeah, I love Amazements. I'm so excited to have all these new cards and all these new tools at their disposal. I feel like they're not like the most powerful deck, especially since like you know, they're mostly light, oddly enough, with only the 1 dark monster. But it is a interesting deck, and if we ever start doing our Heart of the Underdog nights again at our locals, it would be really, really cool to take this and see what we can do with it. But for now, it is just my fun little casual Disneyland deck. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought about this deck in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.